Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we have a final update on the ship that gets stuck in Greenland, the Explorer. We also have some Australian updates, including a Disney cruise update, which is a big significant change from something that's been happening recent. Plus, we also have good news from Carnival cruise ship for game lovers, as well as a warning that New Zealand is giving the cruise companies getting ready for the Australian cruise season. So finally the ship that's been stuck in the mud, run aground in Greenland in that remote area, has finally been freed after 3 days of being stuck. It was finally pulled free with the help of its own motors, as well as a expedition trawler, fisheries trawler that was out there. The good news is they say there was no damage to the hull, no passengers were injured, no environmental damage, no leaks, etc. Everything seems really good that way. Now, this cruise left on the 2nd of September from Norway, and they say now that passengers will be brought back to a port and flown back home. Now, they come from everywhere, from New Zealand, Australia, from Korea to the UK. There's passengers from all over the place, and they'll all have to be flown home as the cruise is stopping early, which means this cruise was supposed to go until the 22nd. 7 more days still left to go on this cruise. And this cruise is not cheap. This is a luxury expedition cruise, averaging over $20,000 to $30,000 to get on board. So a lot of people are now asking, are they getting their money back? If you search cruise news, this story comes up like 500 times. And not one single story is talking about the passengers getting their money back for, first of all, losing 7 days of the cruise and being stuck for 3 of these days. You're there now, that's 10 days. That's a long, long time, especially on this expensive of a cruise. Now, the cruise line obviously will be picking up the cost of flying everybody home. People on board were in pretty good spirits, even joking about the worst case scenario on the ship as if they run out of the alcohol. Like they said, they're in one of the most beautiful places on earth. The scenery is wonderful. The weather was calm and beautiful. You couldn't ask to be stuck in a better place if you had to be stuck. But yeah, I'm curious to know, are they going to get their money back, or is it going to kind of be prorated to the part of the cruise that they didn't go? Curiosity has me, but I'll let you know if I find that out. It's not in any story out there written by anybody. Curious. Next, we have Carnival Cruise Line. Well, yeah, a lot of people seem to love their Family Feud game show on board, so much so that we're going to expand it to more ships. So all through 2024, they're going to expand it to 12 more cruise ships. Pretty much the rest of the fleet. So yeah, if you love the Family Feud game show, you like Carnival, you're going to enjoy getting on board and playing. That's good news. If people enjoy it, it's great that they expanded to more ships instead of just having it on the newer ships that are coming out. Also in New Zealand and Australia, Disney Cruise is just, you know what? We don't require vaccinations or testing anymore. Wow, there was cruise ships out there still requiring vaccination. Yeah, there was, and Disney was one of them. Well, for their Australia cruises, they don't have to. Now, one of the reasons, to be fair, that Disney needed you to be vaccinated to get on board is Australia still had requirements to be vaccinated to go to Australia, but that's been recently lifted, and now people no longer need to show proof of vaccination or be vaccinated to go to Australia just in time for the cruise season, which has a lot of people very happy about. That's a lot of steps to try, and I know when Tony and I had to go down there for New Year's Eve last year, It was a great time and everything, but between getting tested within a certain amount of time before getting on the ship is hard to do when you're taking 2 days to fly there. Not to mention you got to get your visas for both New Zealand and Australia. There's a lot of paperwork involved, and this is just one thing less that you have to do to get ready to cruise, which is a good thing. But if you're going on a cruise, usually Australian cruises a lot of the times will head over to New Zealand. Fun time, great cruise, had a blast when I went, but when we went, 3 ships during that week were turned away because of dirty hulls. They were turned away by New Zealand saying, no, you got to go get your hull scrubbed. Well, they've warned the cruise lines this year before the cruise season started to get their hulls cleaned before showing up. Because if they do not get it cleaned, they will be turned away. They have not loosened the restrictions that they have. They have not changed the restrictions that they have. And they say they will be enforcing it even stronger this year as they inspect ships. So heads up, cruise lines, do what Holland America did last year and take a day before you arrive in Australia to start your tours to get your hulls cleaned. A lot of cruise lines just went there and thought, oh, we're fine. They weren't. And some of them even had it done, but they had it done too soon, and it picked up barnacles and everything down below on the hull. By the time it reached Australia and they inspected it, there was just, again, too much on the hull and they were turned away. New Zealand and Australia, they have some of the most stringent environmental impact rules and regulations to protect the environment. And so cruise lines last year were, I think there was like 15 ships that ended up missing ports on their cruise because they had to wait and get their hulls cleaned before continuing on the cruise after passengers had already arrived and stepped on board. So here you go. The warning has already been sent out to the cruise lines. It's been sent to CLIA, the Cruise Lines International Association. It's been sent to everybody saying, make sure your ships are clean because we're inspecting them, and if they're not, you're going to be turned away. I think that's pretty fair. They gave them pretty fair warning, and after last year, no cruise line should be caught off guard, right? It happened so often last year that this year you should be ready for it. So if you hear in a few weeks of me saying, this ship is missing 3 or 4 ports because it's got to get its hull cleaned, all we can say at that point is shame on the cruise line at that point, because it's been fair warning. Absolutely. So let me know, hey, do you think the guys are going to get their money back? Or do you think they're going to get part of their money back? Or do you think they're not going to be offered their money back at all? I haven't heard boo from the cruise line, the owners of the ship. It's crazy. And are you excited that now the Family Feud game show is going to be on a lot more Carnival ships? And if you're planning to go to Australia, it just got a little easier, but not for the cruise lines. They have inspections to do, but you don't have to show your proof of vaccination. I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.